5 essential camera accessories that you need for photography. All right, guys, if you are somebody who takes photos, a photographer, then you are going to need these 5 accessories. You know, these things can be a game changer when you're out on a shoot. A lot of them seem very obvious, but they are just so handy to have. And yeah, I think this is really going to help you out. So make sure you stick around to the end. These are 5 essential accessories that I always keep in my camera bag. All right, first up, we have a variable ND. Now, this thing is great. I got it off Amazon. 1 second, please. All right, this thing is awesome. It just screws onto the front of your lens, and essentially what it does is it darkens down the image. You can get a darker image in camera just by bumping up the shutter speed, lowering the ISO, or raising the aperture, things like that. But a lot of times that actually can mess with your footage. You know, if you want a very slow shutter speed, or you want a very wide open aperture or something like that, and it's way too bright, then you can just throw one of these things on, and this is just going to darken the image without having to mess with any of the camera settings. Now, the great thing about a variable ND is that you can actually, watch this, you can actually spin it like this, and depending on, here, let me show you up close. Now, look, if I spin it, it gets darker, brighter, darker. So essentially what that allows you to do is have, you know, a lot of control over how bright or dark your image is. You can get really, really dark with this ND filter, and that is so helpful. If you don't want to go that dark, you don't have to. So that's awesome. All right, moving on to the next thing. All right, now don't laugh at me. Please don't laugh at me. You're probably thinking, Luke, a camera strap, this is one of your 5 essential accessories? Yes, it is. You know what? You know, when I first got into photography, I never used a camera strap, and it got really, really annoying because I was just always hauling my camera around in my hand, and you know, it just started to drive me nuts. You know, my arm would always be sore. I'd always be just hauling my camera around in my hand. Finally, I decided, you know what? I'm just gonna try a strap. You know, I never wanted to use a strap because I just thought it looked so dumb. I was like, man, I don't want to look like a tourist walking down the street. So I never used it. Finally, I put one on, and it was great. You can be completely hands-free, and then when you need your camera, it's just right there. So definitely use your camera strap. All right, and moving on. This is something that you guys may not have seen. This little remote thing actually can plug into the side of your camera, and then so if your camera is, you know, sitting on a tripod or something like that, and you want to take a long exposure photo, which is basically where the shutter is open for a long time so that you can catch, you know, lots of motion blur, or that you can catch like cool light patterns or something like that. If you're trying to shoot long exposure and your camera's on a tripod, if you touch that camera and it shakes at all, you're gonna kind of mess up the photo. So if you can just plug this thing into the side, completely hands-free, you just press this button and boom, you take a picture. And you know, this thing is also great because if you want to take a self-portrait or something like that, which is kind of weird taking a selfie on a camera like this, but if you want to, you can just plug this in, and then you have a remote, and it just makes it way easier. Moving on. All right, this contraption it's a handle, so you can screw this onto your camera, and then it just gives you a much more, you know, steady handle to hold on to. So a lot of times the grip that actually comes on a camera that's built right into the body is pretty small, and it's not much to hold on to. So you can just screw this onto the camera, and then this is going to help you get much more steady shots, much more steady footage, and it's just a great grip. So definitely try one of these out. All right, and the 5th and final item is this tiny little tripod. All right, now this thing it actually has 2 uses. It could be a handle, so you can just screw it onto the bottom of your camera, and then you can hold it out for, you know, vlogging, or it turns into a little tripod. So you can just set your camera up like that, and you got yourself a tripod. Now, this specific one is, I don't know if you can see that, it's very, very short. So that's, it's not much help. You could probably just put your camera on the table and it would look pretty similar. But the point is, get yourself a little tripod that fits in your bag and just allows you to set your camera up, and, you know, you're off to the races. All right, and a bonus item is a sunglasses cloth. Now this one is probably fairly obvious. You know, there's lots of lenses, lots of filters, lots of stuff that just needs to be cleaned off and wiped down so you don't have fingerprints and smudges all over your lenses, and, you know, getting weird dark spots in your photos. So keeping one of these sunglasses cloths, or, you know, any kind of glasses cloth in your camera bag just allows you to wipe everything down, keep it all crystal clear and functioning well. All right, so those are my 6 accessories that I keep in my camera bag, and they have really made a big difference in my photography. So make sure you check some of those things out. Make sure you at least try out the camera strap, because I mean, if you don't have a camera strap, what are you doing, man? Like, all right, guys, that's all I have for you today. Yeah, I hope you have a great day, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. I will see you in the next one. Bye.